Hello there, darlings. Welcome to the Clockwork Cabaret. They are old, they are not hip. They are the weird answers that you didn't know you needed or wanted. And now, for a friendly reminder, this show is for adults. That darling DJ duo, Emmett Davenport and Lady Attercop, drink cocktails, have potty mouths, and at least one of them was raised by wolves.
The sound of the cuckoo, you know that it is time for the Clockwork Cabaret.
Hooray!
I am Emmett Davenport.
And I'm Lady Attercop.
I don't know what else. I don't know. We've been talking before we recorded, and now I don't know what to talk about.
We used up all our talkins.
Oh,
this week's playlist.
Yes,
I have a topic
okay.
of conversation. Listen to me. This week's playlist is, we call it, we're kind of like the mixtape you wished you would have gotten from your friend's cooler older sister.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a friend who had that cool older sister. I think I've talked about it on the playlist before, or the podcast before. My best friend's older sister when I was in middle school, who got me into Susie and the Banshees. My friend used to make mixtapes.
Yes, it was tapes. This was before.
Yeah, this is before, and stole all of her older sister's albums to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And she drove a 1950s checker car.
Oh, nice.
That was painted white and had zebra print interior, and I thought that was the coolest thing on the face of the earth.
Oh, yes.
And she was the coolest person on the face. Weird. Don't get me wrong, but that did not. That didn't hurt.
That just added to the new level of ooh, I'm obsessed with your big sister.
No, I couldn't be obsessed. I was too shy. I was too awkward. I just hid and thought that in my head.
You liked her from afar.
Yes, I was too awkward to talk to her. And she was a nice person. She would try to talk to me like, hey, little weird nerd. And I'd be like,
My roommate in college, he dated a woman who I can't for the life of me remember her name, and it's very sad to me, but she was a pink-haired, tattooed, pierced librarian.
Oh, the coolest
librarian.
It's like, and you're like a librarian, which is great, and I want to be, but also like cool.
Yes, and she had just finished the library science program and was going off to be a librarian at, I think it was the University of New Hampshire in Portsmouth, and I was very like, I loved her. She was very big into like Victorian and Gothic literature, and like
I love her too.
Yeah, she quoted like weird, like Chaucer and weird old English things.
Very nice.
Yes, yeah, and all sorts of stuff. But pink hair, tattooed piercings, and it was very much one of like, she is very awesome. I was also a little shy and quiet, and would basically hang out in the kitchen and would just
eavesdrop.
I would just ply her with food that I was making, and that was my only way of communicating, because I was a little too uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to nerd out. She's old. They are older than I am, and it's weird.
You are very cool. Would you like a cookie?
Would you like this cookie I made?
Please take my nerd offering.
I have made quiche. Would you like quiche?
Actually,
the thing I think that the vegetarian lasagna that I made, I think that was the thing that she was very fond of, and it was very one of those weird, like, she would come over on Sunday dinners and have,
you're like, I will make you vegetarian lasagna.
I will make you all the lasagna.
Just keep coming over to my Yes.
If you will be the cool librarian. Yeah. I don't remember her name, and I feel really bad about it. But
it's okay. I do remember my best friend's older sister's name, but I'm not going to out her on the podcast.
But yeah. You always
and also, I'm not insulting her or her sister by saying that she was weird. They know who they are. Yeah. They very much know who they are. That was also one of the things, like, both her and her sister, like, would get into hyperfixations about media and stuff, and they just didn't care who saw that. Like, they just wore that on their sleeve openly, whereas I was always too, like, worried about, like, oh my god, if somebody finds out I sincerely like a thing, they're gonna make fun of it and me, and I will cry. Where they were just like, The Lost Boys is the greatest movie, here's my montage. Like, I've made this 8-foot-high collage, come look at it in my room. And I was like, this is really cool. This is intense, but really cool.
That reminds me of I had a giant collage wall in my bedroom when I was in high school.
Yes.
I cut out every single anything that I remotely liked. It had started off as just like a little small poster thing that I had worked on, and then it became the whole entire wall of whatever things I found in newspapers or magazines or whatever that would just get taped up on the wall. That just became this whole thing. And when my friend Lydia moved into that room, I was very sad to find out that she had taken it all down to paint my room a different color, and also she ended up doing the thing that I had always wanted done to my room, which was to knock the ceiling out and make it put in a loft.
Ooh.
Because my bedroom was the tiniest room in the entire house. It was like a Harry Potter under the stairs bedroom.
Very Harry Potter existence.
Yes.
But without all the turfy nonsense.
Yes, no turfy stuff.
Love how you have to specify that now. That's a good fun thing that came out of this past hell year. But I never did that. I had secret. I didn't make any collages, but I had like secret collages.
Did you have like a shoebox?
No, like I had folders. No, because it needs to be organized. Okay. A shoebox is gonna get bent in there, please. No, but I would have folders, secret folders, full of clippings and things that I found interesting that I could never show anyone.
Oh.
Because I had 3 younger brothers, and I could not show, and we're an Irish family, I cannot show, like Scotch-Irish, I cannot show sincere affection for anything in the presence of my family.
Or it will be ridiculed.
Then it's a weapon. Then it will be used against me. So I always really did admire and appreciate the people in my life that were just, kind of balls to the wall with whatever they liked. They were like, yes, I love this thing. I'm kind of obsessed with it. Low-key obsessed with it. Totally obsessed with it. Come read my fan fiction. I respect that. Like, hell yeah. Wear your nerd shit on your sleeves. That's awesome. I am not brave. I was not brave like that. I am now because I'm old and life has broken me.
And now I don't care anymore.
Now you can no longer hurt me. Not in any way that matters. And so, yeah, I always admired people that could embrace that thing. I do not believe that there's anybody out there that got big sister energy from me. I don't think anybody out there was like, oh, Lady Attercop, so cool. I did introduce a younger friend of mine to Tiger Lilies, and his girlfriend almost dumped him over it.
Ooh.
She hated the Tiger Lilies and then was like, I hate that you introduced him to this band. He has downloaded everything they've ever made. He found the weird Russian shit. I'm like, oh.
But they're so good.
It was not her cup of tea. And after 3 weeks of straight Tiger Lilies, she was like, how have you broken my boyfriend? They're married now.
I can understand. I can understand that.
If it's not your jam, I can understand 3 weeks of straight Tiger Lilies, including all of the weirdest, obscure stuff, and there's a lot of it. Calling you to question your relationship.
when when Rupert and I first started seeing each other, he was very big into Love and Rockets, which is a good band. Don't get me wrong, but we had to trek 3 hours away to Jacksonville, Florida, to a record store where they had a huge collection of Love and Rockets on vinyl, and there was definitely a slight moment where I was like, I like the band. I love that band. I am not sure that I would drive 3 hours to get some records for Love and Rockets.
Mr. Ducky would drive 3 hours to get records.
And also because I did not want to go to Jacksonville.
Well, I don't blame you there.
Like that just really...
I went to college right outside of Jacksonville. St. Augustine was where I went, and it's like right below Jacksonville. So Jacksonville, if you wanted to do anything, like go to a movie or go to a club or do anything that's interesting, you had to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, Jacksonville.
That was where we ended up, and there was that brief moment where I realized I must really like him.
I must like this person a lot.
Because I have willingly climbed into his vehicle.
For not only a 3-hour drive,
but to a 3-hour drive
to Jacksonville.
Yeah, like that's... Ugh.
Man, at least it wasn't Tallahassee. Could be worse.
I've driven through Tallahassee.
No.
But that's it.
That's the only acceptable... It's the only acceptable way to visit Tallahassee. Through.
Yes. I've seen a sign.
Cruising on down the panhandle, escaping it as quickly as possible.
Yes. Well, because when we were living in Savannah, Georgia, to get to Baton Rouge, you have to go through the panhandle.
Oof.
And,
I'm sorry, panhandle, Floridians, we already know what we are. No one hates Florida more than other people from Florida. Yeah. They just hate the other parts of Florida more.
There's a lot. There's a lot to hate.
There's a lot of state to hate.
It's huge and ridiculous.
That should be Florida's new motto. A lot of state to hate. Sunshine State, throw that in the garbage. It rains 6 months out of the year. Florida, a lot of state to hate. You're going to hit some part of it that you loathe, but you might also find some part of it that you like. Maybe.
Doubtful. It's a lot of swamp.
Well, only on the bottom. Only the whole lower third of the state where I lived. The rest is swamp-esque. There are swamps, but there are also patches of dry area.
Because
apparently the people call that land?
Because they have filled it in the swamp.
No, that's what they did down south. That's what they did where there used to be Everglades and there are now track houses.
Oh.
And strip malls.
I feel like...
And strip clubs.
I don't know if that's trading up.
It's not.
I would think the swamp would have been better.
No, the Everglades are far nicer than...
Just leave it alone.
The part that they filled in to make the rest of Florida. Well, the rest of South Florida. I can't speak for anything north.
Yeah, I just lived in Savannah, which was a swamp. And that was enough swamp for me.
Ain't no crazy like swamp crazy.
It's true. And with that, I'm going to press a button.
This is Mad Wasp Radio, home of the hits.
Is she weird?
Yes.
Who's the she we're talking about?
I don't know. I was just assuming.
I mean...
I was just assuming you were talking about me.
It's a Pixie song about us. Have you seen my mind? That's the big...
Where is my mind?
Where is my mind? That's what I'm claiming.
That's the song. I also really like Tony's theme. This is a song about a superhero named Tony.
All the best superheroes are named Tony. Frank Black, you weird little man.
It's so weird. Oh, no. When he was in the Pixies, he was Black Francis.
Oh, that's right. He was Black Francis in the Pixies. Yes. I always forget that.
Because he needed to make his name seem cooler.
Yeah, Frank. You can't be in a cool alt rock band and have the name Frank.
I guess not.
Well, according to him, he was like, no, what about Black Francis? I sound like a monk that's done upsetting things. I love it.
Oh,
This is the voice I've given Frank. I have no idea. This is the voice I've given him now.
it sounds like a strange.
Like I just imagine him staring off into the middle distance while he's doing it.
Oh, yes.
Call me Black Francis.
Very dramatic.
Yeah.
In a very dramatic way. He wore all black.
Black. Hence the name Black Francis.
Also, his
It
last
was a
name was Black, and his name was Frank, so it just worked.
It did work. Mr. Ducky. Everyone knows my favorite homunculus
Yes.
duck American, Mr. Ducky. Used to get in trouble with his parents because they would ask him why he was so morbid and he wore all black and listened to this music and was just a little weird, creepy kid. Meanwhile, his dad, as a teenager, went by Bill Death.
Oh.
He was in a motorcycle gang.
Oh.
He didn't have a motorcycle, but he painted the back of the jackets for the other motorcycle members.
Oh.
In the 1950s, he was in a motorcycle game.
And
he went by Bill Death, and he dyed his blue jeans black, which is not a thing people did in the 1950s.
And yet he wondered why
his child
wore black and
turned out exactly the same.
how he. Okay. That's, well, I mean, to be fair, my mother would often comment on things like that. Also, my stepfather would comment on things like that. However, they were children of the 60s and 70s and raised me playing things like Led Zeppelin and The Doors and Leon Redbone, Leon Russell, and Tom Waits, and
ordered you board games out of weird hippie catalogs.
Weird hippie catalogs.
Mail away for them.
Like The Sleeping Grump and Don't. What was it? There was one about air pollution where you had little metal chickens and you were trying to collect eggs. And that your chicken, if there was too much pollution, your chickens wouldn't lay eggs, and so you had to make sure that the board was environmentally conscious while you were playing. It was a cooperative game. We had lots of cooperative games. Also, there was the Save the Whales game, and and then they wonder why I am the way I am. Yeah, no, it seems...
Why you had a problem with authority.
Yeah.
You're a little contrarian growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't imagine.
Why
It's totally unrelated.
No.
Utterly
It's just
unrelated.
a weird... the fruit fell far from the tree.
My mom growing up, one time, a group of boys tried to kick her and her friends off the baseball field because they were playing baseball and boys showed up and they were like, you gotta go. And like, we were here first. Kick rocks. And they were like, yeah, but we're boys and you're girls, so you need to leave. And my mom jumped on him and punched him in the face.
Yeah.
And my mom knows where I got it from.
And yet still.
Every once in a while she'll say something and I'm like, really, mother? Really? Your mother, her mother, took me to see Rocky Horror, not picture show, the stage production. And her favorite movie was Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Nothing that I do should surprise you.
Oh yes, my mother was the person who introduced me to Rocky Horror Picture Show because she made sure to, as soon as it was released on VHS tape, she got a copy of it because she went, Oh, dear Emmett, this is a movie for you. You need to see this.
The first time I saw it, I saw like a sanitized version they were showing on cable, network TV.
Yeah.
It wasn't cable. We didn't have cable. But like, Channel 33 in South Florida, shout out, was showing it or something. Like, late, my mom was like, oh, you guys have to watch this. She's like, I haven't been to Rocky in years. And I was a teenager, so I was old enough to get the references. And I'm like, Mother, you have seen this? I am shocked and appalled.
Yeah, my mom was shouting back at the screen while we were watching it, and
my mom was like, "Oh, this is when you throw toast."
Yeah, Yes.
What?
And I think it was for like the 15th anniversary release of it or something like that. And
that might have been
it. Because they released it on VHS tape and it was a thing. Yeah, no, yes. And then my mother wonders. Yeah.
They know.
Like, showing me all that stuff and then wondering. She's the one who said, "Oh, have you heard this thing called grunge?"
Oh, no.
And I went, "What?"
I heard about it on NPR.
No, she was like, I was flipping through the channels and there was a band called Pearl Jam that showed up on MTV, and I immediately thought, this sounds like a band that my daughter would like.
So you didn't listen to it for 5 years?
No, actually I went, "Oh, you're right. Oh, I do like it. Oh, this... That makes
How can I be rebellious when you recommend it to me, Mom?
How can you be rebellious when you've done all the rebelling for me?" No, she was a terrible teenager. I stayed in my room and read comic books.
The only story I didn't. I was a nerd, and it sounds like my parents were kind of nerds too, except for the one story about my dad saying that when he and my mom went out, underage drinking, and she got sick, so he pulled into the police station parking lot to let her puke. Because it was a really small town and there were no cop cars, so he knew that meant the building was empty. Oh. There were only if the 2 cop cars that were normally parked there, then there were cops in the building. If the 2 cop cars were gone, meant nobody was in the building.
Oh.
You could drink underage with abandon in the police station parking lot.
Oh, yeah, no, that is small town living.
Yeah, in New Jersey.
No, that's one of the reasons why I left the town that I grew up in, because it was a very tiny town in Vermont. And when I graduated, and all of the bullies that had plagued me through high school all became police officers in the town that I was living in.
You're like, I gotta get the
and I
hell out of
had
here.
to leave quickly because I thought, this is gonna just go terrible for me.
I don't want those people in my life, but now with a badge and a gun.
Yes, like
sounds like it's time to move.
Yes, they harassed me before when they had no authority. Now the idea of this going that way, nope. And that is why I left. And I have never looked back.
You've never gone back?
No, in fact, I have friends of mine from high school have actually tried to get me to go back and visit. And I'm like, no, I have no desire. I have no desire. And they keep going, but we're weirdos. Don't you want to rub it in the faces of all the normals that we look so much better than they do? And I go, that is, I do love a good spiteful anything. I do like that. However, no.
You'd have to drive to Vermont.
Yeah, I don't want to. It's pretty, but I don't want to.
I know nothing of Vermont. I've never been anywhere near it.
It's green and it's mountainous. And when the town that I lived in, when there was snow, you weren't getting out.
Yeah, the things I know about Vermont are cows, snow, Bernie Sanders, ice cream. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all.
Oh, is that it?
That's
okay.
it. That's
all
all you
right.
got.
Well, see, there we go.
There
I don't need to know anything else.
There's some cheese and maple syrup.
Well, see, cows. Yeah. Dairy products.
Yeah.
Cows.
And maple syrup is good.
Oh, I didn't think about maple syrup. But see, there you go.
Yeah. But
I'm from South Florida, where it's just cocaine.
We did have Ben and Jerry's. We had Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, that's with ice cream. Ben and Jerry's is from Vermont.
Yes. That's
I'm from Florida, so it's like, corruption, cocaine, bath salts.
Yeah.
And the food is good. So there you go. There's your primer to South Florida.
Yeah, there's not really. I could recommend a few restaurants in Vermont, but they're probably like 30 years out of date.
They don't exist anymore.
I don't know if they still exist. There was that hippie vegetarian vegan restaurant I used to go to.
Oh no, was it one of the yellow cafes? Was it one of the cult cafes?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. But I don't think it was.
I think they were out in California. I think they were
these
safe in Vermont, in small town Vermont.
The service was always terrible, but the food was very good.
No, I don't know. Could have been a cult cafe.
Yeah, it was a cooperative. It was a co-op restaurant.
That's a fancy name for a cult restaurant.
They didn't seem cultish. They were not trying to give you literature or anything.
That's how they get you.
Though they did have contra dancing.
That's how they get you. Contra dancing is the first step in a cult, Emmett. Everybody knows this.
I did not realize. My mistake.
You saved yourself from more than just the cops.
I guess so.
Could have been you'd have had a shaved head and a white gown by now.
Oh, no, I'd look terrible in white. I look like a big snowball. Like
I was going to join. Is the all-white thing as hard and fast rule?
Yeah, that's not a good look for me. It's not a good look. And with that,
if you like this thing we do, if you would like to join our cult, you can. Simply go to agonyauntstudios.com, and there you will find the ways that you can help the show survive. You can donate to us on Patreon, Coffee. You can send us a one-time donation via PayPal. Review us on iTunes and give us 5 stars. You don't have to write a review. You can just say yes, because it fills us with glee.
If you have musical suggestions or a theme suggestion, you can email us at clockworkcabaret@gmail.com. And
you can follow us on social media. Yeah. Our handles are all on the website.
Yes, and with that, this has been the Clockwork Cabaret. She is Lady Attercop.
And there, I'm at Davenport.
And it's not work we do, it's love.
Ladies, are you engaged? Engaged in a hopeless tussle with your bustle? Perhaps you are suffering from a lifeless caboose. No longer toil with a sad sagging skirt, but buttress your bustle with Madame Pomegranate's bustle starch. Put the hustle back in that bustle.
This is Mad Wasp Radio.